Hi guys.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm like super sick, so I've like lost my voice.
Oh, it's okay. I'm like fighting a cold myself.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. How you doing, Andrew?
So far, so good. Well, I guess it's the end, so been a good week.
Oh, good. Did you guys get the PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Yep.
I got it.
Okay, cool. It looks like everything's on there, so. All right, anything, Sam, did you say you wanted to discuss? Is there anything?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to know what you guys thought about my slide, actually, about one of the slides that I had.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Just kind of just to get an idea and maybe generate some conversation. I think it was, let me see, I'll put on my iPad. I think it was, is there, do you think that for Coke and Pepsi, there's untapped opportunities? Like, should they try to invest more into the marketing in the global markets, or is it pretty much is everything pretty much tapped out? Like should they invest in the global market or not?
I think there's still money to be made in Africa and Asia, personally. Coke's all over Europe. Well, Coke and Pepsi are both all over Europe. My wife and I went to Russia last year, and one of the things that we learned was the Russians actually put an agreement in place with Pepsi back under communism.
Really?
Yeah, the Russians were allowed to. The Russians, Stoli vodka.
Yeah.
They set up a deal where the Russians, Pepsi was selling Stoli vodka in the United States, and the Russians were selling Pepsi, or the Soviets were selling Pepsi in the Soviet Union. That was the deal they set up, back in the 70s or 80s. So, but Coke didn't break in until after the fall of communism, and most of Europe. I personally think Coke and Pepsi's business is going to be better abroad because the United States is going more health conscious, and we've been the largest consumers of it because that's where it started. So you see it everywhere in Europe, but people don't drink as much. It's not, people will buy a bottle of Coke, like a 600 milliliter bottle of Coke, and they'll drink that. They're not going to go get a large fountain drink at McDonald's and fill it up 5 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I haven't been to Africa yet, but from the people I've talked to in Africa, you can get it, but it's not as prevalent because a lot of Africa is still lower income. And I think if they could find a way to market to emerging markets, places that are just now starting to get, modernized or whatever you want to call them, people would probably buy it, but you would sell smaller quantities. But, you would get, I think it's declining in the U.S., but I think there's still opportunities around the world they could go after.
See,
go ahead.
Okay, I was thinking, I was doing some research in Africa, like you were saying, that in South Africa there is Coke and stuff like that. But I was if they invest money into other of the West and the East Africa areas, could they really afford it? So I was like, would they be doing would it be just a blind mission, them investing into something that, they just can't afford? Because a lot of people in West and East Africa, they're not, really taking their kids out for pizza. And so that was my idea. So that's why I was wondering.
You'd have to do it in larger cities. You could do it, parts of Kenya are still fairly impoverished, but in the largest slum in the world is in Nairobi, or outside of Nairobi. And I
know Nigeria has some nice areas too.
Yeah, parts of Nairobi are nice, and then you can go to Entebbe, Uganda has there's soccer bars and stuff where people will go and watch, and there's a lot of European expats that live in Africa in various places. So the more built up cities, you could sell it, but you know, I don't know how much goodwill Coke and Pepsi want to do, but Coke and Pepsi could probably find ways to bring water to a lot of these impoverished places and sell Coke to them. If you go in and bring them water for free and then give them Coke for, you know, a nickel, they might take it. I mean, that may be the future of them building goodwill, so people will buy their drinks somewhere, you know?
That's true. What about you, Karen?
Well, I just think, like, as far as it seems like it would be more regionalized, right? They would have to take into account the socioeconomic status of the region, right? Versus just like you're saying, going in and being like, well, here's a fountain drink, you know, it's like, right. Or even regional tastes. Like, you know, you've seen like how different companies come in and they have more regional products, right? That really hone in on what, you know, that specific clientele wants. So I could see them like pursuing that a little bit more, you know?
That's true.
Yeah. They make Coke in Afghanistan. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In Kabul, Afghanistan, they make it in 12-ounce cans or 355 milliliter cans, which is the same thing. And you can buy it there. You can buy a whole flat of it for like $5.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
I heard overseas it tastes better too. So
it depends on if they use real sugar, it tastes better.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yep.
They use real sugar.
Better in Mexico too, to be honest.
No, yeah, I mean, we're so close to the border, you know, like with the yeah, no, seriously, like people go over, they're like, we don't like this Coke in San Diego. We'll go down and get the one from Tijuana, you know, because they do. It's different tasting, you know.
Yep.
Oh, wow. No, I you know, when I first read that question though, it's like, you know, I was thinking also like Untappd, not just the market, but like, do you think there's other products that they could go into, like that you feel that they would want to venture into, like kind of like if you're looking at like the blue ocean theory, like is there any untapped resource that they could go into to, you know, broaden their market share?
That's true. I was thinking because I read somewhere as well that overseas that basically it's the classic products that really excel well, like regular Coke, regular Diet Coke. So I didn't even think that way, Karen, but that's a good point.
Yeah, and most of the places like in Europe and South America, they have Coke, Coca-Cola Light. They don't have Diet Coke. Diet's an American drink.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks the same. It's still in a silver can, but it's called Coca-Cola Light.
Is it? Do you think it's the same? Is it the same product?
It's probably the same product, different wording.
I've never drank it, but I think it is.
Huh.
It's just a different name.
Yeah.
So, they have Coke Zero.
Yeah.
And they have normally Fanta, like orange Fanta.
Yeah.
And Sprite. You can get Sprite in a lot of the places too. But those are like the main Coke products in Europe.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yep.
But do you guys think, like, in the United States, you know how things, like, kind of ebb and flow, like, as far as, like, people being health conscious, and then, like, a couple years later, it's like, whatever, you know? Like, do you think, like, there'll be a time when, it, you know, whereas, you know, the research is still there to support that we shouldn't do it, but people kind of come around and are like, well, we're still, you know, they still are going to utilize the product, you know?
I think we're going to go through an era of health conscious and then an era of plastics. It just fixes everything. That's what I think.
It may. I mean, I don't. You know, I hate to pull the government card again, but a lot of it's going to depend on what the government does. I mean, they look at cigarettes. They raise the tax on cigarettes so high that their people are stopping smoking because there's ad campaigns against smoking, and now cigarettes are like $12 a pack in Chicago, so people stop smoking.
Is it really $12 a pack?
Mine's just $6.
I was there.
$6.
How much is it where you are?
$6 in Florida, about five.
It's somewhere $5 to $6 in Colorado right now.
Michigan, and
$11.
Wow.
I was in Chicago in 2008, and it was over $10 a pack then.
Yeah, it's $12 in Chicago.
But do you think that's like what they're doing? Like, you know, isn't it New York or whatever that they did the well, like it wasn't a tax, but like the limit on like the size of the drink, you know, stuff like that. So they're like you're saying, like different things they're going to start imposing to limit, you know, to encourage limitation, I guess.
I mean, basically the way they look at it is we're going to make money because you're going to do it regardless. We're just going to make you pay for it. And if we make you pay enough, eventually you'll stop. and they're, I mean, you know, if you want a 20-ounce Coke and it comes in 10-ounce bottles, buy 2 of them. You know, make twice as much tax money off of you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know. It's and the other part is probably some sort of like social shaming. Like if you can get if the whole state of New York hates people who drink Coke and you're the one guy drinking Coke, like it'll be like taboo, or like, you know, you're, you know, like you better go drink your Coke in the corner because nobody wants to see you drink that crap around here. You know what I mean?
Have anybody been there? See, like, I'm in San Diego. Like, I haven't been to New York to stroll around since I have 2 kids. Like, not so much. But like, has anybody been there to see, like, I mean, I've only watched like documentaries or like, you know, news programs like about it. Like, has anybody been there to see like what people actually think about it?
No.
They still. I was there. I think the last time I was there was the early part of 15, and people still drink Coke and people still smoke cigarettes.
Right. I mean, that was my feeling too. Like, that was my impression. Like, did it really do anything, you know?
My sister lives in Manhattan and she's a Coke drinker, so she
yeah, you still drink it. Like,
she does not complain about not having Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm the same. I'm the same way. I mean, you know, there's a lot of times like if you know, people will buy food. Like my wife and I eat food off the street all the time when we travel. We don't eat in restaurants. And like you in Italy, you can buy a piece of pizza for like $1.
Yeah.
$1 for a Coke or $2 for a Coke. You just drink one. Like you don't drink 10.
Right.
You just buy a bottle of Coke and drink it. Like nobody cares. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
But when you were in Europe, though, like my brother's married, his wife is Turkish, my sister-in-law, and they just talk about how much stuff costs there, you know, and it's like, it's just, things are so exponentially priced. I don't know, you think like if they went to like Africa versus, you know, in their markets in Europe, there's such a price gap, you know, of what they would be charging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, and the other part to that is you could charge less in Africa because you pay less for labor.
True.
I had a project in 2010. I had a project in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, rebuilding a military base down there, and we paid $5 a day to the workers, and they were the highest paid people in the entire country. And we had a problem of keeping workers because they would come work for a week and make more money than they would an entire year. So we were having a hard time getting people to keep coming back to work. Like if you came for more than 4 weeks, we gave you $1 a day raise, which is 20% more. So we were having to try to
living like luxurious. So they're like,
I mean, everyone in the entire city wanted to work for us because we paid more than anyone else. So we had an infinite supply of workers, but you don't want to train people over and over and over. So if you get people and keep them, you know, that's what we wanted to do. And we had such a hard time because they made so much money. They were like, you know, I mean, if someone was paying you $50,000 a week, you know, would you like for 2 weeks and go on vacation? Like that's what they were doing.
At this point in my life, that sounds fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So because the cost of labor is so much lower, you know, and I would imagine that a lot of the goods would be lower too. It would cost a fortune to make the factory, honestly. Like you have to ship in everything.
Sure.
But once your fixed costs would be high, but your labor costs would be super low. So you could sell it I mean, in theory, if you made the investment, you could sell it at a level where people could afford it. Like the book talked about Henry Ford. He wanted to build cars where the people that built the cars could actually afford to buy one.
Yeah, exactly.
You could probably do that if you were dedicated enough.
Right. Interesting. I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept. You kind of, I think when I first read it, it was like, well, you know, it would seem to me that they had already expended all of the good, you know, right? Like it's like, wow.
That's why I was like, I might want to get your guys' idea and change that.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, I definitely want to change my slide because it makes sense.
I mean, personally, if I was Coke, I'd go to Africa and even India. Like India is very impoverished, but India is like one of the most growing economies right now in the world.
They speak.
You have families that have been impoverished for 100 years are now like getting jobs and actually they're affording to buy cars. Like the Ford Fiesta, Ford actually made a ton of money in India in the last like 5 years because they made the Ford Fiesta, which is like a tiny little cheap car that people in America wouldn't buy. But the Indians love it. They're all excited to get it because it's affordable. It's like like the Model T was back in the day here when Henry Ford started making them. So you have a very growing middle class, and there's an economy that's like opening up in parts of the world where Coke could probably make money off of them if they chose to.
Right. Interesting. Hey, Sam, what did you think about the slides with the poems? Yeah.
my poem I had to read a couple times because I'm like, it's about a calf who like walked down the trail, and then other people, and never came back, and then other people went down the trail. But I was like, okay, I gotta get some idea. I was watching some of the videos, and I was like kind of researching, and it was okay. Like after a while, like like I tried to strategize with the blue ocean, like kind of going, out there in a new market, that calf or mover.
I read your slide. I thought it was good. Like I was interesting because I read my poem like at like, I don't know, 2 a.m, and I'm like, wait, do I understand what it's saying?
I didn't get it for a while.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting though. I kind of enjoyed like applying it. It's like I think there's a little bit more no right versus wrong, just if you can apply it.
Exactly. But it was actually nice to strategize, like do a business strategy with it. I'm very content with this week's assignments because it's not as, like, I felt like last week they was asking for a lot, but this week it's a little, more.
What do you guys think, like, if you talk about like the blue ocean? So like one of my slides was about the blue ocean strategy, and it like says, do you think it's a favorable strategy or not? But my feeling is like, it's not always ideal to, for a company to go into or create a new market.
It could fail. It could fail. Like what about those the infomercial, like those people selling things?
Yeah.
And it's like the whatchamacallit, but it doesn't work. Like no one wants to buy it. So.
Yeah, so that's what I said. I said, sometimes, I don't know, and maybe you can give me your opinion, Andrew, like on like it talks about like, I mean, what I thought was like, if it is a blue or a red ocean, if they're differentiated, they can still have success. I think it's different when the differentiation isn't there, then they shouldn't be in a red sea. I don't know. I think they can still be profitable if it's in a red sea, if they're some way set different than their competitor.
And it has to still be very different though, because the Red Sea, there's sharks out there. They're good.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm battling right now, honestly. In Louisiana, we definitely had blue ocean. There was nothing in our way. And we actually convinced the government and a lot of the entities, the private entities, to adopt this engineering standard for all their projects, and we were the only outfit in town.
Right.
And we've been there for 10 years now, and we've done such a good job of educating people and then building the walls up around it, where we've actually made the barriers to entry extremely high, and that office has the highest profit margin in the United States even to this day, because we came in before any of the competition did. We created it, and then we had such a stranglehold on the market, no one could come in and take it from us.
Right.
So the boat I'm in right now is more red, because there are a lot of small companies that do a non-official version of what we do. That's not backed by insurance, and it's kind of crappy, to be honest with you. But the people around here think that's all that exists. They don't actually know about the real thing.
Right.
So, I actually liked chapter 6, because chapter 6 talks about competitors, not fighting each other, and sometimes they team up. I actually have a meeting tomorrow with a woman who's a principal for an engineering firm, and I met with the owner of the firm last week on Thursday. And I have basically agreed not to do one of our services in the state of Colorado if she will help me push this other one and use me for all of her work. So that's, because she's a woman and she has a small business, she gets a lot of government contracts because she's it's a minority-owned business and small business. They only have 15 people. Right. So by me teaming up with her, I'm basically guaranteeing not to compete with her, which makes her comfortable because I have a lot more people than she does. And it's also we're going to give her better information to work with. So her product, her quality is going to go up as well. And what's in it for me is by sacrificing what she does, I'm going to take this entire separate market that doesn't exist, and she's going to help me build it. So we're kind of somewhere in that range as well, where, this could totally backfire. I mean, I've been trying for a year and I've got nothing.
Right.
So, it's definitely real, but it's hit or miss.
It's interesting that you bring that up because, like, in the dental world, like, I don't know if you, like, in San Diego, like, sometimes like one corner can have like 4 dentists. Like, sometimes it's crazy, right? But like, there's so much alliance with, like, okay, if you're like a specialist, what they promise they will or will not do. Like, okay, look, we won't take any of your money for, like, you guys do all the cleanings. Like, we won't take any of your cleaning, income for like the hygiene department, but you guys in turn will give us all your referrals for your root canals or whatever, Yep. So it's like this very like give and take, and like they know, like the specialists know, like they would never cross that line to like take the money for x-rays or for the hygienist, like, because they could easily hire their own hygienist, but they do it they just do it just to keep their general population, the general dentist population, happy, because if they know their bread and butter's gone, so that's interesting. Like, but it's saturated though, so it's like they're definitely for sure in a red environment, so they have to either differentiate or they have to move to a place. There's a lot of, I don't know where you guys live, but like different like business parks and stuff, they'll limit the amount of the same type of people, like same type of business, right? Like, you can only have one dental office in this building, or, and they pay a premium for that. Like, they have to pay those real estate people, like, listen, they have to buy into those offices or those business parks that will put a cap on, limiting the competition for them.
I never even thought about it, but there is no 2 dentist offices in any plaza I know. Like,
yeah, that's interesting. San Diego, it's weird because like there's some that like, but then again, it's like some offices is like right across the street, so it's like they don't really apply, It's like,
that's true.
It's like that around here in places. And the thing I was thinking about is like cars. Like, up here, I would say the vast majority of people probably drive a Subaru. You see more Subarus than anything else because of the snow, honestly.
Yeah, I was to say it's all wheel, right? All wheel drive.
That's how Chicago is too.
Yeah.
All wheel drive.
That's my wife and I both drive Subarus, and there's a guy in his name's Buddy, and he's in Golden, Colorado, and all he works on is Subarus. It's been 30 years, all he does. And he does basic maintenance. Like, he won't pull motors out, he won't do transmissions, he won't do paint and body work. But he's got a shop that he'll send you to for transmissions, and he's got a shop he'll send you to for paint and body work, and he's got a shop he'll send you to do big motor stuff. And they've kind of formed like this clique where Buddy's customers go to Buddy all the time, and if they need something else, they ask Buddy, and he refers them to one of these specialists. And none of them, like, they're all, like you said, they're all comfortable being their specialists. They don't want to get in the general market. Like, they work together. So.
Yeah, because I'm sure that, well, if you think about the money they're pulling in from, it's like they couldn't recoup that cost even if they stole 1 or 2, it's like, no, they would make more money just keeping the alliance.
Or loyalty. It's like a
right. No.
Yeah. Well, that, and it's, you don't have to have, if all you're doing is 1 or 2 things, you don't have to have the equipment to do everything either. So your investment costs are lower.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you get the material for a lot less because you're just buying that one thing. So.
Yep. Right. Yep. They don't worry about, you don't have to worry about, and their mechanics only have to know how to do one thing. They don't need to know how to work on a Chevrolet. They don't come in. If you have one, they're like, no, there's a Chevy shop down the road. We're just going to do Subarus. That's it.
That's so funny because my brother lives in Seattle, and like they're like, yeah, we're gonna get a Subaru. And I'm like, really? So
they're good cars. I mean, if I didn't live in the mountains, I probably wouldn't have one. But they just go. I mean, they don't go fast, but they go.
Right. Oh, that's so funny. Interesting.
My boyfriend lives in Chicago, and he's like, and we're from Florida, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to Chicago, and I'm gonna buy a Subaru. I'm like, you're gonna buy a Subaru? Like, what? Who buys? You don't just buy that as your next car. And he's like, I need it. Like,
no, for sure.
Great.
All my friends laughed at me when we left Louisiana and moved up here because they're like, what are you doing? You drive a Subaru and you're
Yeah.
eating at like organic grocers, and you know you're turning into granola over there. What are you doing? You know, we have chickens at our house. There's chickens
Awesome.
25 feet from me. We get eggs off of them. So
Oh, that's so neat.
I know.
A different experience.
Yeah.
And so my brother moved from San Diego up to Seattle. We laughed at the same thing. Like, it was like,
Yep.
wow, like, what are you doing up there? He's like, you know, but it's awesome. I have much respect.
Yep.
Challenge, but it's cool.
Nah.
But
Let's see. I think we got through most of the. Let's see.
yeah. Did you have anything, Andrew, that you wanted to talk about?
On the Cola Wars case.
Yeah, mine basically I talked about how I would like your intake on it. I was kind of just shooting from it, but it talks about the supply chain. So Coke and Pepsi make the syrup themselves, and then they send it to the bottlers. The bottlers will package it up. They'll add, you know, sugar, water, and carbonation to it, and they'll package it in bottles or cans, and then they get it in, whether it's 2 liters or
Yeah.
cases or 6-packs, or, you know, they'll package the drink in a single serving, and then they'll package those together. And then the delivery drivers will actually take it out and place it on the shelves in whatever positions they have agreed with the retailers. And then for fountain drinks, the only thing they actually ship out is the syrup, because
Right.
carbonation and everything is right there on site. You just stick the box on the shelf and hook it up.
Right. I agree that that's the most profitable. I mean, for sure. That syrup delivery for sure.
Yeah, and that's when they ask about it. And I said, you know, bottling in bulk has a high margin. Like because you can cut down on your material cost.
Sure. Like the economies of scale of it.
Yeah, but it's also sold cheaper. So I was actually doing some reading, not just in the Cola War stuff, but actual looking around online, different places. The most profitable, the smaller the serving size, the more profitable it is. So the material costs are higher. The material costs are higher because you're, you know, obviously putting 6 ounces in a can versus 12. You need twice as much, or not quite twice as much aluminum, but you need more aluminum to do more cans.
Right.
But the like the price they charge per fluid ounce is a lot higher on the smaller ones. So you make more money on a smaller bottle. That's why like 2 liters are so cheap. 2 liters are cheaper than anything else.
Yep.
Have you guys seen like the little cans they've come up with? Like the little.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and I always walk by and I'm like, dude, that's like 2 sips, man. Like, I don't think I can do that, you know? Like, I'm trying to stay awake.
But if you look, like if you go to if you can go to like a Walmart or a Costco or somewhere that has like a unit pricing on it, check the unit pricing on the small cans versus the big ones. It's like it's like 100% higher. I mean, like a 2 liter is like, I don't know, it's like 2 cents an ounce or something like that.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
And 12-ounce can or 12-ounce cans, like in a case, like if you buy a case, not a 12-pack, it's like 2.4 or something like that. But the little bitty cans you're talking about, they're like 4.5 or 5 cents an ounce.
It's gotta be expensive.
Yeah.
Have you guys? I don't even really know who buys those. Do you? Like, I was looking. I'm like, I'm not sure.
I've seen them in offices. Like, I've seen them, but
it's kind of like a mini bar. Like
some people will actually buy them for a mini bar because they'll make like one mixed drink with them. You'll pour like one can of Coke and one shot of something in it, and there's your Crown and Coke or whatever.
That's true.
So the bottling in bulk has the highest margin as far as the supply chain, not actually selling at the store, but the supply chain, just because of economies of scale. And then the syrup delivery is the highest because there's no, you basically cut all the middle out of it.
Yeah,
you know, you're just going straight to the point of sale.
That's true. All you need is a cardboard box and a plastic thing to put syrup in.
That's it. You stick it on a shelf and hook a hose to it, and it does itself. So,
do you guys have those cool vending machines, like those ones that like the push ones that you can like get anything and everything? Like those ones are like, you know, will provide so many different options. But I can imagine, because didn't they say somewhere that to buy the syrup, it's almost like a franchise, if you will, like or something like that?
I think for that Freestyle, it might be a little bit more expensive because it's cartridges. It looks fun.
Is it? I've never seen I've never seen the back part of it. You know,
I saw someone changing it one day, and it was like little cartridges, like just
I think the Freestyle is more expensive, I think, but I think the rationale is that you have less cartridges.
Yeah.
Because like you only need one lemon and one vanilla and one cherry because you can use it in all the different beverages.
Right.
So but I think the thought is that they're getting a higher volume of sales because they have more options to offer. So it's not like, just Coke or Pepsi or whatever most of them have like 6 to choose from or something like that. The regular.
Oh, so the ones I've been to, like there's like 20. I swear, it's like like the thing, and it has like the huge circle, and then you click on the circle, and then it pops open to like 20 more, and you're like, what?
Yep.
When I was an undergrad, like we would say, hey, let's go eat at so-and-so. They have the freestyle machine.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, I made the mistake of showing my son, my 7-year-old, and he was like, we were there for like 45 minutes. I'm like, dude, just pick one. Seriously. We got to eat here, dude. Like, let's do this.
That's job security for the dental market.
Yeah, I know. There you go, right?
Bring it on here.
Yeah.
I'm like, go home and brush your teeth because you just put like 45 different flavors in one cup.
I guess from the integration standpoint, the backwards vertical integration would be beneficial in making the syrup, just because it goes into everything, and then they don't have their proprietary flavors going out in the market to someone else. And then, I said owning the bottling in countries with little infrastructure would ensure consistent high quality production and volume. So like if Coke wanted to sell in Tanzania, they would probably have to start their own bottling facility because
for sure.
You don't really have any other way to guarantee that you'll have the materials necessary to make the Coke. Because if you don't, that's like the U.S. military model of basically when they go out in the middle of nowhere, they bring everything they need.
Yeah,
the difference in supply is what set the United States military apart from everything else. It wasn't the training of the troops; it was the supply and the logistics. Because you can literally do everything you need in one place. So I think that's the only way they could do it. I don't really think it would be, necessarily effective in the U.S. because there's already a market in place, and then they would be, I don't know. It could be, but I think the biggest benefit would be doing it in places where there is no infrastructure. You build your own.
Didn't the case say that they took over the ones that were like failing, if you will, or the ones that they felt they could acquire quickly, so that they kind of took over the ones that maybe that were struggling or whatever? But I can see what you're saying, absolutely, that it would have to be in those areas so that they could ensure the quality of the product and the standardization of it.
And I said, like, forward integration would be risky because drinks are not really a primary good, and it would be difficult to sell to consumers without teaming up with retailers like restaurants, venues, or stores.
Right.
That is like Disney has the Disney store in the mall where they sell, stuffed animals and all this stuff. But if you're Coca-Cola, like, it's kind of hard to start a Coke store because people can just go to a vending machine and get a can of Coke, but. People want to drink Coke like with popcorn or with a pizza or, at a baseball game or something else. Like soft drinks are like complementary goods. They're not like primary goods. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it would be hard to have like a Coke store or a Pepsi store. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, unless you're doing because I know here, like I have neighbors that are like diehard Coke fans, like they would do it for paraphernalia, but not for like the actual product, like they wouldn't care about the product. They'd care about
a Coke sign and
like
old
the Coke factory, like maybe a mini Coke factory or a tourist attraction or something like that.
Yeah. And they have, I think it's in Atlanta where they have like Coke World or something like that?
Yeah, I think that, well, it's kind of like the M&M store, something like that, like in like Vegas or whatever, like I've stopped there, but
they may be able to have a couple of them like that, but you would have to be somewhere, like to me, it would almost have to be somewhere where you would like prey on foreign tourists. Like you could do it in New York or LA or San Francisco where people come from other countries or Vegas. They come from other countries and they're like, oh, there's all this Coke stuff. We don't have this wherever we live. Like maybe you could do that, but you're not going to put one in, you're not going to put one in like Toledo. You know what I mean?
Random.
Yeah. Topeka, Kansas.
But if you go back to like if Coke went to Africa, right, and you're talking about like not having like the restaurants and venues, like it'd be interesting to like see like per capita like what these like remote places, like do they have even any venues other than like you're saying like the vending machines to deliver their product,
Right. And in a case like that, you would almost have to have like whatever version of like the local store would be.
Right.
if you had a local store, you could sell Coke. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it, like, you know, we were down in the state of Oaxaca in Mexico in like the middle of nowhere, and they have the little markets where, you know, the little hole in the wall market with no doors and no windows where you go in and you can buy a candy bar and you can buy a bread and you can buy things like that. And they had a beer fridge and a Coke fridge, and you could go in there and buy a half-liter Coke for like
they got their priorities straight.
Yeah, but that's the other issue is that there's, you know, even parts of Mexico and South America have spotty power. You would have to have power in those places in Africa because you'd have to have the refrigeration because people probably wouldn't go around drinking hot Coke. I mean, they might. If they didn't know any better, you could probably try. But, you know, you would almost have to help. Coke, like I said, Coke would almost have to, like, partner up with, like, the country and build an infrastructure and help become, like, you know, I don't know, like McDonald's is trying to have, like, you know, they started selling salads so they could try to appear healthier, right? I mean, and then, you know, after the BP oil spill, BP put commercials all over the Gulf Coast states about how BP's partnering to help rebuild the coast. Like, we're your friends at BP.
Yep.
Like,
oh my God, we were getting those in San Diego, you know?
Really?
Oh yeah. We were copied on all that. And I'm like, dude, and it's like, I wanted to know about it, but I'm like, you're kind of hitting the wrong market here, dude. We're not on the same coast there, you know? Like,
yeah, but they're trying, all they're doing is like saving face. Like, they're not even marketing the product, they're marketing their brand.
Yeah.
And like Coke would almost have to like partner with the country and have, or, you know, it would be like a McDonald's thing where like Coke would get a restaurant to go in and open up and start selling stuff, and then they would sell their drinks there.
Yeah.
But it would take, you know, you don't have fast food restaurants all over Afghanistan, but you can still get Coke. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
You can buy it in like the supermarket. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you'd have to have these formalized venues, you know, whether it's a supermarket or a you know, restaurant or whatever venue, you know.
Yeah. You could sell it in the cities, but you're not going to sell it out in the middle of nowhere. Like, you know, you're not going to have Coke for sale in the Serengeti Plain, but you could probably sell it in, you know, any of the capital cities where they actually, a lot of them mostly have actually better infrastructure than most people realize they do. Like, they're fairly civilized. Like, you can get hot water and you can get, you know, they have stuff that a lot of people wouldn't think of, but
absolutely.
But it's you know, I would say like anywhere they sell beer, you could sell Coke.
Sure.
It's my idea.
I do like your idea about the water, though. I mean, that would be really good PR wise. Plus, if they got in the water, then they could use the water to do the bottling. You know, so
it's like, if they purified a water source to give it to the people to drink, then that would basically, all they're doing is creating. You know, that would be like creating their own infrastructure. They would make their water for their drink, and then they could give it away.
And then they could import the syrup, and they're good to go. You know, it's like Well, guys, I think it was good. Now, did you guys need to, or did you want to like update your slides at all, and then send me the finalized slides?
I want to update it. I'll send it to you tonight, though, because that'll be quick.
Cool.
And then I'll send.
And Andrew, I think yours was good. So.
Yeah, I'm good with mine. I mean, I don't know what I would change in it.
No, I think I wanted to get your guys' take because I had it. So.
Okay, cool, guys. So I'll put that together, and then I'll send it out for you to look at, and then I'll post that this weekend. And Sam, you got the video again? Is that cool?
Yeah, I got it. I'll send you guys the video tonight. Probably I'll stay up and get that done too.
Cool.
And then Sam, next week I was thinking, because the rotation's starting over again, will you be able to turn it in next week? And then like as far as like we'll send it to you the next week, like all of our slides, and then
yeah. Will you still break it up though, or you want me to?
Yeah. I'm gonna break it up again, and then I'll send you that. But I'm just saying, as far as, and then the last week, Andrew, guys, we only have 3 more weeks, so it's like
we only have 2 more weeks of this after this.
Right.
We have some other different thing though.
Yeah, there's something different, but it's not. It'll be. I mean,
I think it's gonna go fast.
The point values are going up too. I noticed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Skill builders are worth more, and we're starting to be worth more. So I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll look out for that stuff from you, Sam, and then I will send out the thing like I did. I'll continue to do that, finish that out for the next couple weeks, and then we'll be good to go.
All right. Awesome. Have a good.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. You too. Bye.